It's your choice, isn't it?
Actually, we are tired of repeating this. It's our choice, it's our body. We as a women, why we have to always bring this topic on? Like, I actually don't want to say anything to them. Like, it's not my job to take care of them. Like, they have to take care of themselves. I don't want to deal with them at all.
Now, first things first, can you take me through a typical day for you during the month of Ramadan, from morning until evening?
So a typical day in Ramadan is supposed to be like any other day, with the only difference that we abstain from ourselves from eating and drinking, but not only, also from swearing, gossiping, and every kind of wrongdoing and bad behavior. Because we all know that God doesn't want from us only to fast from food, but also to fast from bad behaviors and to clean our soul. So it's not only a detox for the body, but also for the soul as well. So we go to work as usual, and there is no meaning, let's say, to stay up all the night and sleep during the day, because you may lose the rewards of fasting of Ramadan, or let's say you can't achieve the purpose of Ramadan in case you don't experience it.
It's like cheating if you...
Yeah, exactly. So it's supposed to be a random day, but fulfilled with as much as worship that we can do during this day.
So you go about your day normally, but you don't have breakfast, you don't have lunch and dinner, you don't drink water. What happens in the evening?
So we actually have a very early breakfast, which is called suhoor, sufuri in Albania. So we wake up here in Turkey. We wake up around 5 o'clock. So we have this little breakfast, let's say, and then during the evening, it's during the dawn of the sun. So it's I don't know in Albania, but here in Turkey it's 6:30 p.m. let's say. So we have our late dinner.
So you have your breakfast before the sun rises, and then you break the fast after the sunset. So during the hours of the sun, no water, no drinking, no swearing, no gossiping, nothing sinful at all. Okay, and I guess I'm curious as well, are there any traditions, I know you're in Turkey at the moment, but as an Albanian, are there any traditions or customs that take place in Albania during Ramadan that maybe are specific to Albania, and also foods as well, when you break the fast and that breakfast in the morning? Are there any Albanian specific traditions or customs?
So unfortunately, it has been almost 10 years I didn't experience Ramadan in my country, and I can say that it is a completely different atmosphere with family and friends. But of course, every place, every country has its unique experience. For example, I had the chance to experience it in, except Albania and Turkey right now, I had the chance to experience it also in Macedonia and Spain as well. So they experience the atmosphere of Ramadan in Albania, North Macedonia, and Turkey are quite similar to each other, maybe due to the fact that we have so many customs and traditions in common. But in Spain, it was completely different, actually. In Spain, it was normal like any other month, except the fact that the small Muslim community there, which is mainly composed from immigrants, usually from Morocco or Algeria, and very few locals, which are reverted Spanish Muslims. So the one which I enjoyed the most, I can say, it was in North Macedonia, because of course, as a musafir, as a guest, everyone treats you like a queen, and you don't have to cook and wash the dishes. In Turkey as well, there are some facilities applied only during this month. For example, we have 2 less working hours, which means if the administration starts at 9 a.m. and finishes at 6 p.m. usually, during Ramadan, the working hours are between 10 and 5. Facilities which in Albania are not applied, of course, although Muslims are majority. They are never taken into consideration in this case anyway. So yeah, comparing all these countries, of course, I would not change Ramadan in Albania, as there is nothing like home. Being with family and friends and has no price is an experience.
So I'm curious, like in Albania, what would one expect to eat at iftar, and then what did you eat at iftar in Spain? How did they differ?
For example, in Albania we have petula during iftar, or even during sahur. Petula, it's these small donuts, like similar to the donuts, but a small portion.
My stomach just rumbled.
Usually, yes, usually they are served with honey or a gel or jam. And we usually break the fast with this. I remember from my childhood memories, I remember because Kavaya is a city where Ramadan, where Islam usually is much more vivid, it's much more like lived traditionally from the people there. So I remember during iftar they had a special dessert which is called kabuni. I don't know if you ever heard about it. No, actually, it is cooked rice with sugar, with honey, and grapes, dried grapes. Like it's like let's say a sweet.
Yeah, I think I've had
sweet rice.
Before.
Unique custom or tradition in Albania, which I didn't notice in other countries, is that people, and especially other religions, show solidarity with the fasting Muslim believers. And maybe this is related to the fact that we have a lot of mixed families, such as Christians, Muslim, or the opposite. So in this case, other family members, which they are not Muslim by religion, or they are not practicing Muslim, they would fast at least one day. Just to show solidarity.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, just to show solidarity. Or, for example, we share iftars with each other, which means that a Christian neighbor would invite his Muslim neighbor for iftar, or the opposite.
Yeah, I've been a part of many different meals and bayrams as well. And I was going to mention as well, in the schools, Eid is a public holiday in the public administration as well. Like my daughter has the day off school, which is nice because also for Easter, for Christmas, for the Orthodox celebrations, and then for the Islamic holidays as well. It's a public holiday, which leads me into my other question, which was, do you feel Ramadan in Albania is supported, like culturally and socially, as well as sort of with the administration, or is it something more private? You mentioned there, that the public administration doesn't make any concessions for people who are fasting. But what is your perception of the acceptance and the support for these festivals?
Yeah, I think it's more culturally accepted rather than officially, like as in the institutional level, let's say. Because we don't see any facility, as I know. I may be wrong, because as I said, like I've been here in Turkey for almost 13 years already. So I don't know for sure, but my perception is that usually Muslims are not considered when it comes to these facilities. For example, I remember many years ago, there was Bayram, like the end of Ramadan. It was election day. Like you cannot make election day the day that Muslims are celebrating, but yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it's the country is secular, maybe that's why they don't take these things into consideration so much. But I really like the way, like you said, that people come together and they celebrate the holidays of their neighbors and things like this. And it doesn't really matter if you're a Christian or not. I wanted to ask you as well, do you feel, Albania is known for its religious tolerance? We have three main religions here that seem to coexist very peacefully. The same cannot be said for many other countries, where these often cause wars and all sorts of things. So I'm wondering how this impacts in your view, how does it affect how Islam is practiced here? You know, from women wearing hijabs, you know, maybe in schools if children, you know, want to practice their religion there. How do you see religious tolerance and Islam in Albania coexisting?
I think that the notion of the religious tolerance in Albania is somehow overrated or used for political reasons. What I mean with this is that the religious tolerance, which was once before present, before the communist regime in Albania, has lost its meaning nowadays. Has lost its value because you cannot talk anymore about a religious tolerance when you don't have religion at all. You don't have much religious people. You know what I mean? Like during the communist regime, there was no religion at all. But yeah, in some sense, we can say that there is sometimes some kind of tolerance if we take into consideration the fact that there is few or no incident between the three largest religious communities, or the fact that they marry, as we mentioned before, they marry each other, or that we live close together. We don't have these separate Muslim neighbors and these Christian separate neighbors. So when it comes to the role of Islam in it, many studies, many researches and reports, and me myself, I have been co-author of the report of Islamophobia in Albania for 3 years. Those researches, those reports have shown that there is Islamophobia in Albania. Any kind of level, whether it is among the society, like people among each other, institutionalized Islamophobia when it comes to administration and institutional level. It is present in the education system, as you mentioned, the issue of hijab in schools, which it was an issue, like for years it was part of big debate. And there is Islamophobia in media and any other sectors, the public sectors, let's say. And there is another level of Islamophobia which may be difficult to measure. That is the fact of not being taken seriously, not being taken into consideration as a majority religious community. Like the example we mentioned before, of doing elections during Bayram, during the Eid celebration, which gives us a message that for us as a state, as a country, this event is not an important event. Like you Muslim as a community, you are not important at all.
Look, I have seen people, and I know there'll be comments, you know, on our interview saying, oh, you know, Islam was forced upon Albania. Our religion is Albanianism. We don't care about religion. We see, and I hear people making comments which I think fall into the category of Islamophobia, where they say, you know, they're fanatics. They make the women cover up, and it's becoming extreme. We don't want this. And I think there are elements of Islamophobia amongst that. And I guess as a Muslim woman, how do you feel when you hear people saying about, you know, opposing women wearing hijabs, etc.? What's your view on that? What do you say to the people who are going to make comments like that?
So I have been, let's say, active in this kind of debate for years, like around 15 years already. Like I'm giving interviews and writing articles about this. So usually I didn't allow this Islamophobia to be internalized, which means that it didn't touch me. I didn't allow it to touch me. It made me stronger than I was. Like it made me more active to fight against Islamophobia in this country. So yeah.
So it's not something. I mean, I guess what I want to know from you is, what do you say to those people? Like, you're not forced to cover, are you? It's not like you're being forced to do it. This is something that I hear. You know, it's your choice, isn't it?
Actually, we are tired of repeating this. It's our choice, it's our body. We as a women, why we have to always bring this topic on? Like, I actually don't want to say anything to them. Like, it's not my job to take care of them. Like, they have to take care of themselves. I don't want to deal with them at all. When there is a big Islamophobic issue, of course, I usually reply by giving my opinion, by writing articles, or bringing the fighting of Islamophobia in much more higher levels. Let's say with studies, with research. For example, nowadays, today, during this time, I'm doing my PhD on investigating the issue of the veil in the Albanian media, in Albanian social media, because I'm studying social media studies. So as I said before, like, I don't want to deal with these guys because they have huge problems with themselves. So if I reply back, or if I work on this issue, it's much more for the others to hear about it, for people who are interested to hear about it. Yes, I am not forced to wear the hijab. The opposite, I have been forced to take it off from my family, so I had to fight for my hijab. Yes, we are not oppressed, and the fact that we are in different kind of institutions and working and trying to give our contributions, everywhere we are qualified for, and we have talent to do so. So we are trying our best.
Yes, as women, we are these people who say these things. They are the first people that will criticize a woman for what she's wearing or what she's not wearing. You know, there's no keeping them happy, whichever way we want to look at it. And this is really interesting. The research that you're doing. I want to ask you, in terms of combating Islamophobia and, resolving some of these issues, what would you like to see in Albania in terms of interaction from the government, or any initiatives or legislation or anything like that? What can they do more to combat this issue?
When it comes to legislation, since we are trying to comfort the European legislation, there are many European countries which accept very few exceptions, which allow hijab in schools as their right. For example, there are many other countries which allow, not only allow, but give some, let's say, some support for the Muslim who are praying, who want to have a space for praying, for a praying room. I don't know if we have such a thing in our administration in Albania. I don't think so, because I heard it was a topic which was bring up many times from the Muslim community. So I would like to see basic rights for the Muslim people. Basic rights such as praying, the right to pray, the right to cover our heads. And yeah, I hope so.
I hope so. I hope so too. And thank you very much for your time. And I wish you a peaceful and wonderful Ramadan month.
You are welcome, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.